I'll start off by introducing myself. I'm Tilden, Athletic Director here at St. Pius 10th High School. Thank you for watching this video. This is something new we are trying this spring because a lot of you guys probably already sat here and watched my video already 2, sometimes up to 8 times right now. This allow our coaches to have a little more free time to have their parent meeting when it was easier for the team as a whole instead of like forcing everything into a square peg into a round hole. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off. I always like starting off with talking about the academics of our sports programs. Right now, we're looking at we have 100 out of the last 111 teams. We've had 102 of them made academic all state. Okay, with that said, we are very, very proud of where our academic. I hold that right there is higher on my list than a district trophy or a state trophy, because our academic we hold our students to higher academic standards. So and understand that if you have an F, your son or daughter can practice, but they cannot play their sport, which is very important because if they're planning on going to college for it or anything like that, your college coach will expect that from them also. Want to jump into some transportation. With limited buses and stuff like that, we are going to be asking a lot of parents, hey, can we carpool, or can maybe, hey, we're going to be going out of town. Can some of the parents jump in, help out, and drive some players, stuff like that, to the out of town, some of the out of town tournaments or out of town games. So that's going to be something. If we need a bus, we will use a bus. I'm not going to say we're not going to do that, but it is. We're going to be reaching out and talking, and that's something the coach will be talking about in the parent meetings. Next one is going to be another big one that's huge is communication with coaches. Okay, these coaches put a lot of time in their programs. On the average, I know whenever I used to coach, I actually broke it down. I was getting paid about 8 cents an hour because that's how much I put into the program. And that's what a lot of these coaches do. So they're doing it because of the love of the game and the love of your kids. So if we have a game and we lose bad, because that's usually what most people want to communicate is whenever we lose, I'm really mad or something like that, and you can want to tell the coach, hey, you could have done this, could have done this. What I say is give it 24 hours before you reach out to the coach. Okay, do not jump in the coach right away because I promise you, they're not happy if something like that happens. So in turn, 2 adults, now, well, guess what? They come together and both of them are a little bit upset. It's not going to end well. So give it that 24-hour cool down period and then reach out to the coach. And I promise you, the coach, all of our coaches are very good. They would probably love to sit down and talk, whatever, baseball, football, you name it. They would probably love to talk about the philosophy of that. But give them that 24 hours after the fact, after the game. Also, too, if your son or daughter is having an issue, there is a chain of command, a chain of communication that it's set in concrete. First one is I want your son or daughter to be able to reach out to the coach. Well, I don't care if it's for playing time or whatever, they're having some kind of disagreement. Go talk to the coach. We want to really push our kids to be able to go to an authority figure and say, what's going on? Because if you're a freshman, you have 4 years, you're going to be in the real world. Seniors, definitely if you're a senior, because next year, either A, you're going to be playing a college sport or college professional, you got to go talk to them, or you're going to be out in the workforce. It's very good to be able to learn here while we have all the safety nets to be able to go and talk to an authority figure and be able to discuss things. If that doesn't work out, then the mom and the dad will go to the coach with the child and say, okay, what's going on? That way, that way sometimes communication area. That way mom and dad can hear what's going on. If that doesn't get resolved at that level, then you reach out to me and we'll have a meeting with, mom, dad, student, and me. Then if it doesn't get resolved from there, then we move up to Mr. Lane. So that right there is chain of communication and how we want to make things work. I will not jump that chain of communication. That is, and understand that is something that I believe in because most time a 16, 17-year-old brain doesn't absorb some of the way. Sometimes miscommunication between the coach and the athlete. And a lot of times they go and ask them like, "Oh, that's what you meant. Gotcha. Sorry, I took it this way." And that's been most of the time, I would say about 95% of the time, that's usually what the case is. Philosophies, okay? right now, you could take some of the top coaches in NCAA, pro sports, you name it. You take two of them and you sit them down and say, they're going to agree with the basic X and O of that sport. But they're not going to agree on philosophies. Because one might be like for baseball, they're more Whitey Herzog type, speed, lay the ball down, get going. The other one might be, hey, we're going to be more pitch control. I want you to take pitches. Everything is different. Everybody's different in philosophies. So I promise you that's on that level. I promise you at this level, the high school coach and you are probably going to have different philosophies. So with that being said, if you have different philosophy, mindset, maybe sit down with the coach and find out, hey, coach, why are we doing this? That way, because I'm sure they're going to talk to you about why they believe what they do. Okay, it might be different from you, but understand, and this is one of the biggest things, I have seen so many teams since I've been here for the last 20 years blow up from the inside because when they're on the ride home from a game or sitting around a kitchen table or whatever, mom and dad are talking about how bad the coach is because you don't agree on philosophies. So in turn, when that happens, your son or daughter hears that, and your mom and dad, they're going to, hey, mom and dad, you are everything to them. So all of a sudden, now the coach's word, they lose respect for the coach. And then when they lose respect for the coach, they stop listening to the coach. And next thing you know, one of their good friends, you start talking, oh yeah, he said this, or she did this. And it starts bringing the whole team down because we're getting divided from the inside. So what I always ask is whenever that happens, if you disagree, first talk to the coach. And if you do just want to discuss it with your wife or with somebody, don't let your kids hear it because your kids, are your kids. They love you so much. And what you say matters to them. And they will end up disrespecting the coach and then it balls up. And I've seen it happen in several sports. Since I've been here. And I mean, we're talking some sports that should be at least district champs, if not all the way up to state level state level. But it's the ones that we build together, stay together, is the ones that make it all the way to the big next level. And then right now, too, another thing I want to put out there is if your student ever gets caught with anything like a vape, tobacco, alcohol, narcotics, any of any sort, the first punishment is a third of the season lost. That's right off the top. That's right out of the gate. And whatever happens over on the school side, that's a school side. But over here on the sports side, you lose a third of your season right out of the gate. Second one is the whole season. The third one, you can't play anything anymore. So understanding that whenever we're talking about some of the stuff that's going on and it ever get called. And then so like I'm going to talk about some like technical fouls and stuff like that now. Some of the red cards, yellow cards, all that stuff for soccer and actually volleyball also. Each one of them is different. So we are not going to treat all of them the same. Because something might happen and it was perceived by the official as something else, so they get the red card or get a technical. And if somebody else does it and it's more flagrant, stuff like that. So each one of them is going to be dealt on a different basis. So understand that, it's like anything else. We're not going to look at automatically put a hard line on. If you get technical, if you get a red card, you get a yellow card, or something bad happens, you're done. It's this. So we'll take each one of them in consideration. One last thing I want to talk about is our parent club. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you. We need you to make these sports run because we need people at the gate. We need people running the concession. There's so many other things that can be helped out. In the fall, we need people to run the chain gang. We need people to run the clocks. We have a lot of things that need to be done behind the scenes to make this program work. And this is where you get your service hours. So I always say, if you have a JV player, volunteer for the varsity that night, for the varsity game. If you have a varsity player, volunteer for the JV. Or if you're a winter sport parent and you want to watch all the winter sports, great, volunteer for the spring sport. Just find a place in there to go and, get your service hours. You got to get your service hours in anyway. But we need this to be able to run our programs. So that is one huge thing that I got to get out there. Get on a Sign Up Genius at stpius.com, stpius.com. Look for volunteer. and click on Sign Up Genius, and there's a lot of places you can fill in to help volunteer to get your service hours, but also help us run our programs, because we need you.